feeling it, and we found another study that says work burnout is a thing, and it's at an all-time high in just about every profession, according to the American Psychological Association. 80% of us reported feeling work-related stress in the month before they did this. Well, yeah, obviously, that were 80% of us feel stress.
I think a lot of us can identify with this, but the question is, what can be done about it? How can we feel better and still keep our job? Dr. Jamie Suckerman, a licensed clinical psychologist, is joining us now.
Jamie, are you Jamie or Laura?
I'm not sure. No, Jamie.
Jamie, okay, sorry. I'm just looking at my notes. Well, thank you, doctor. We all agree with you. 80% of us, we're stressed, but it truly is a thing, right? What do you call it?
It's work burnout. I mean, it's different than depression, and I always like to say that in the beginning. But you know, it's just we are so overwhelmed right now with pandemic and schools being in and out and trying to figure out our work schedules. You know, work crews and our offices are very short staffed, so we're getting a ton more work than we normally would, and not as many people to delegate to.
All right, let's fix it.
And how do well, first before that, how do you know that you have it? I mean, it could be you just don't like your job. That could be an option. So how do you know it's not the job itself? It's just you're tired. You're work exhausted.
Sure. So there's a couple things. The first is you'll start to feel emotionally exhausted. You're not going to want to get out of bed, and not just the normal, I don't feel like going to work today. It's really tough to get out of bed. It's really tough to get dressed and actually go to work. It's just this loss of drive. And then you get into this mode of you just really don't feel like you're connecting to people at work. There's this depersonalization or this separation that occurs where you really kind of just go to work, not interact with other people. You don't really put as much effort into your work relationships, your customer, your patient, your client relationships, kind of drop the ball a little bit and just don't put in that extra effort that you normally would have.
That sounds like depression.
It's different than depression. That's why in the beginning I want to make it clear, because this is specific to work. So this doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have a lack of motivation in other areas. If it gets worse, that will start to bleed into that. But this is more work specific. And that's how you really know the difference.
Because 80% of us say yes, we're going through this.
Yeah.
The important thing is, how can you help yourself? You always say, go ahead and admit it to your coworkers.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things to do is if you feel comfortable, speak to whoever is in charge of you, speak to your coworkers, kind of get the support network that you need. If you don't feel comfortable talking to your boss, let's say, one of the things that you can do is just simply ask them, okay, how do I prioritize this? What's the thing that needs to get done right now? This way I can put forth the best effort that I can. Delegate if you can, if you have the people around you to do that. Make sure that you take breaks. I always say breaks are not a reward, they're necessary. You want to make sure that you schedule downtime. There's a lot of things you can do. You want to pay attention to your sleep, to your eating, to your just kind of mental hygiene.
Okay. And what about find the things you do enjoy and do them?
Yes. It's very important to schedule what's called pleasurable activities. So not things like laundry, unless you love doing laundry, but like things doing laundry or, you know, cleaning,
maybe
things
reading.
You actually enjoy. Yeah.
Watching
and make sure you schedule it. It has to be a priority. Going to the gym or taking a walk or calling friends. It doesn't have to be an actual activity. It could be binge watching something on Netflix.
Well, exercising, you and I talked about it, that's important.
Well,
Exercise.
I don't enjoy that, though.
Well, that's true.
I just do it.
I'm with you.
But it's like self-care, right?
Yeah.
They say exercise is a form of self-care, and you have to do those things.
And
even the smallest amount, even 10 minutes a day. And if that's too much for you, if you feel too exhausted, 5 minutes, and you gradually build from there.
What about 1 minute?
1 minute is better than no minutes.
Another thing she says, that Dr. Zuckerman says is, and we all need to learn how to say no.
Or delegate.
Yes.
Delegate.
Yes. So this is very difficult for those of us that tend to be people pleasers, that don't like saying no to people for fear of looking bad, looking like a failure, feeling guilty. So people pleasers and perfectionists have a little bit more difficulty with this, and we have to be comfortable being uncomfortable with delegating.
Yeah, I'm not good with it. Do we have more time? No. Dr. Zuckerman. I love that painting behind you, too. It's really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can't tell what it is, but I like the
I think
color.
it's a flower.
Oh,
Very
it's a flower.
nice. Well, thank you.